Hello guys, it's Jake from Whitesphere Tactical, and today we're going to be showing you how to fix this seal on the bottom of a TM MP7 mag. Okay, it's quite a common issue that we see quite a lot, especially being here at Blackstone CQB. We do get a lot of gas weapons, and these are an absolute favourite, of course, for people to use. Right, so what we can see here with this mag is the gas MP7 mag, the TM version. As you pop the gas in, okay, you can just hear that gas coming out straight away. All right. Now, this it sounds like it would be the valve, but if you go to tighten the valve here, you'll actually notice that it doesn't do anything. And it's coming, you can see where the silicon's leaking around the side. It's actually leaking around the side of the mag here instead of there, all right? Instead of the back valve. So what we're going to do for this one, we haven't got an O-ring set, a valve set. We do have some silicone grease, which is the PTFE grease as well. So it's a sealant grease, and we've also got some PTFE tape. And favorite tool set for doing these type of things is obviously a punch set as well. And this has got loads of different sizes, which is great for this. We're not going to replace the valves. We're just going to fix this one by giving them a slight wipe off and clean, and then re-putting them on with some fresh silicone and applying some PTFE tape. Right. First things first, obviously make sure the mag is empty of gas and there's no BBs left in there, because you might end up throwing that spring around. There's two pins. You've got the bottom and the top. Now these pins also have little retaining grooves in them to try and to try and keep that in place. So knock them through, and you should see that there is ridges around one side. So that there hasn't got ridges, so we're going to knock that back through the other way, and there we go. You can see here that it's got scoring just around the top, okay, which is to denote that that is the side which I would push through. Otherwise, you're pushing that pin the whole way through the other side of the mag. All right, now push both of them through. Two pins will come out like so. Drop those pins somewhere safe that's not going to go walkabouts, and then get ready to take the bottom of the mag off. Now, what I would say is this spring is obviously spring loaded, and as you take that off, the whole spring itself, internals, will fly out. So try and keep it under pressure and release it slowly. And then here as well, you'll see the follower is also in the mag, and that will slide out. Now, we don't need to worry about that. We can leave that just is. You can see the inside of the mag there. You've got the reservoir for all the gas, okay, on the inside. Now, what I tend to do is give that a little wipe around, give it a little clean. So we're going to make sure there's no debris that's inside there, no metal shavings, and nothing that's going to obstruct the seal from having a nice tight seal around there. Okay, let's give that a clean out like so. That should be all good. And we're going to move on to the actual valve itself and have a look at that valve. All right. So here you can see there's an O-ring. It is an O-ring, even though it's square. You know, they mold to the shape after time, and when you buy them, you can buy square ones to go in, but you can put an ordinary O-ring in if you wanted to. It's no stress. And you can see, if I pick it off with a set of pliers, that it is there. There's the O-ring. So what we're going to do is just remove that O-ring. Okay, pop it off, and you'll see here it's got a ridge on the one side, a little bit of old dried up silicone and debris that's inside that mag. And here again, same thing. And we're going to give a good wipe around where the seal meets. He says, try not to knock everything over. There we go. Cool. Sometimes what I tend to do is give it a little rotate, make sure it's nice and fresh all the way around, no cracks, no breaks in the seams. And then also as well, you can give this a wipe off. You'll see there's a bit of debris around the rubber as well. Often I'll drop this in some hot water, and that will shrink the O-ring back to its normal size again, like it will take it back to what it should be, give it a little bit of repurpose. However, we're not going to do that today. We are just going to apply a decent amount of PTFE grease in and around the reservoir, the little ridge that sits around here. You can use any silicone grease. The PTFE stuff is good. However, I would say, as a rule of thumb for me, if I'm using PTFE grease, I'll let it kind of set after putting it on. So if I apply this grease now, and let's say we go to put the gas in and it starts leaking again, it's probably because I haven't left it long enough. I sometimes will apply that. I'm going to leave that open because we'll put some more on after. I'll apply that, and then I'll leave it, 10-15 minutes just to kind of set in, and then try filling it with gas. And then we're going to put the O-ring back on. So you can see there, pushing the O-ring on. You can do this with your finger this time, okay? No pressure. And if you've got spare silicone that's coming out around the edges, no dramas, that's fine, because we want that anyway. Rub it in and get it back around. And if you'd like to, you can add an extra helping of PTFE grease around the seal. Try and get it a nice even spread as much as you can. If there's some overspill, it won't matter. Don't worry about it too much, okay? Now, normally that would do, if you were just doing a pistol mag or anything else, okay, that would suffice. You'd be able to put that back on, and you might find that that holds the seal, and there's no problems, no issues there. However, 9 times out of 10, when I do an MP7 mag, I find that once I've put that together, it still leaks. So what we tend to do for a rule of good measure, or what I do, is use everyone's favorite tool, which is the PTFE tape. Now, there's no right or wrong amount to use of this. I tend to go a little bit heavy, which makes it hard to put the valve back in. It makes it quite a tight fit. What I would say is, as a rule of thumb, I'm going to kind of go for about 4 or 5 wraps around of the magazine base, so this little valve base here. If it doesn't sit shut when it's in, and it doesn't hold that leak, then I'll pop the screws back out again, and I'll apply another 1 or 2 runs of it. It is a bit of a pain in the arse to use, if I'm being completely honest. It's not exactly the simplest thing to use. However, as you go around here, you should be able to see that you want it to line all the way around that seal. Because you've got the mag bottom here that holds the spring guide, it can be tricky to get around that. And you don't want it over tight to the point that it's just filling the gaps in. So if you stretch it too much, it becomes wafer thin, and it won't actually do much. I mean, it will give a layer, but you want to kind of be able to get it a nice tight fit, so it's not going to move around, but also still have a good enough thickness that it's going to give some kind of seal around the mag, okay? Now this, again, the more you do this, you are essentially adding layers and layers around the O-ring. So it will fill out a bit more when it's inserted into the mag, and it might make it a bit tighter to fit, which is a bit of a trouble sometimes. However, we'll see how we get on. So wrapped that round, you can see it went about 4 or 5 times, and it's made it a little bit thicker. You probably can't see on the camera, but it has made that base plate just a little bit thicker there when it's inserted into the mag reservoir. All right. What I tend to do on top of that, again, because always can't have too much silicone inside a mag to keep it sealed up, is now apply some of the grease into the reservoir of the mag itself. So you can see there. Don't be afraid to get it all in. It's going to be wiped up and tidied up after. There we go. My hands are a bit clean. Okay. Now what we're going to do is put our spring back in and make sure it lines up on the follower as well. Let's have the magazine follower. There we go. And then I'm going to just use one of my punch tool sets just to basically help guide that spring in. So you need that spring to come all the way in as much as you can, and often you'll find it pops back out as well. That's not to worry. There we go. You almost need an extra pair of hands. That then sits on, and you can see that spring guide goes into where the spring is. Okay, and then we push the whole thing in together. Okay, all the way till those holes line up. Now we've put a lot of extra pressure around there, and this is the trickiest part of this. You might find that they don't actually line up. So try to, if you can, by thumb, just push them in. Get them to be at least through the hole initially, and then you can tap them into place after. Okay, like that. So now we have them there, but you'll find the amount of pressure, if you can see that. So just reference, we've obviously pushed those 2 pins through. It's hard to see on the image here on the camera, but actually the base plate isn't seated completely flush, so I can just push those pins sometimes all the way through. They might not always go through. You might have to put a lot of downward pressure on that side of the mag to be able to allow the pins to come in. Okay, so what I'll do is give them a little tap. Apologise if this shakes the camera a bit, and I tend to put leverage down on the side of the mag which then not the holes aren't in. So for example, push that down on the bottom, just give a couple of taps on the back side. Once you've got them in and lined up with the hole, you can then tap them the whole way through fully. It can take a few attempts, and sometimes you need another person to assist in tapping them through the whole way. Trying to do this without knocking the camera over. Go. Once you've got them in and they're lined up, you can hit them flush, just something like this. And then just make sure there's no raised edges on either side. You might see here there's a bit of the PTFE tape coming through the hole. If that bothers you for aesthetics, you just drop a little bit of Sharpie marker on that and that'll hide that straight away. Or just grab a file or something similar and just scratch away the PTFE tape out of the way, and it will come out as you scratch it. Okay, you just pick that off and it will just disappear as if it wasn't there. Okay, so there's no stress if you don't like that. Okay, however, shouldn't have too much of an issue. Now, again, like I say, this isn't 100% foolproof right this second. If I put gas in it, it may still leak, all right? However, if that does happen, all I'm going to do is repeat that process, okay? I'm going to take the base plate off again, and I'm going to put another layer of PTFE tape around it, or two, depending on how much it's leaking, and we're going to fine-tune that until the leaking stops, okay? And that is how we fix it. So a moment of truth, we'll see if we've got it right first time. Perfect. There's no leaking coming from the mag. It is absolutely good to go. And that is it, all sorted. So if you're unsure of how to do this or you need more help, okay, drop us a couple of messages inside the comment section. That's no problem. Hopefully you've got some benefit from this. If you have, then obviously give us a like and subscribe, and obviously keep tuned for more content. We're going to do a running series of all the different types of mags as well to make sure that we can assist you in fixing and maintaining your airsoft mags. There should be hopefully no issues going forward where we've got people coming in the shop saying, my mags are leaky. So this is what we're trying to do, guys, help and educate you all to help assist in maintaining your mags and obviously looking after them as well. Now, if your mag isn't leaky, I wouldn't advise just taking the base plate off to give it a silicone anyway. It's one of those things that if it's not broken, don't fix it, so to speak. If you take the seal off, you could break that seal and then you end up with a leak that you didn't have in the first place, and then you're troubleshooting, trying to chase the dragon, trying to fix that leak when it's not necessary, okay? Hopefully this has been informative. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up, okay? And obviously we'll be there for the next one. Thank you very much, guys.